Hello,
Hi, everybody.
gospel fans.
Gospel fans. We are back. It is Mrs. Locke and Matthew again.
Yeah.
And we are excited to be with you for another story. And today we're going to be reading story number 37. And again, it is from the Gospel Story Bible by Marty Machowski. Right here. Today's story is called God Has Mercy on Israel. And it is on page number 74, right? And it's taken from Exodus 33 and 34. Now, Exodus is found in the Old Testament. And Matthew, do you remember? It is the what? The second book of the Bible. Very good. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture that goes along with this story. And you might wonder, when you look at this picture, what is that? Well, as you listen to the story, hopefully you will be able to understand a little more about what that picture means. So are you ready? God has mercy on Israel. Let's read it together. After Moses destroyed the golden calf, he said to the people, "You have sinned a great sin. I am going up to the Lord to see if I can make up for your sin." So Moses climbed back up the mountain and stood in God's presence. He asked God to forgive the people for making the golden idol. He even said to God, "If you can't forgive them, Lord, please punish me instead. Please take my name out of your book." The Lord heard Moses and did not destroy the people, even though Moses could not take the punishment for the people's sin. But the trouble was not over yet. The Lord told Moses that he didn't want to lead Israel anymore. God said, "The people are so stubborn and rebellious, I might destroy them while we travel together." When Moses told the people the terrible news, they were very sad, weren't they? To show God they were sorry, they took off all the fancy clothing they had worn for the celebration with the golden calf. Moses went back to the Lord and reminded him that the Israelites were his special people, and that the ones that God had promised to bless. Moses said, "We don't want to go anywhere if you don't go with us. We want everyone to know that we are your chosen people." Moses said that God's presence was what made the people of Israel special and different from other nations. Moses was being a mediator again, just as God wanted. So the Lord heard what Moses had said, and he agreed to go up with the people and give them another chance. Then Moses asked for a very surprising thing. You know what it was?
What?
Then he asked if he could go and look at God. But God would not allow that because Moses was sinful and God was holy. A sinful man could not see God's face and live. So instead, God told Moses to bring 2 new stone tablets to the top of the mountain. Then he placed Moses in the rocks with a crack to look through. Right? And as God passed by, he covered the crack with his hand. And after he passed, he took away his hand so that Moses could only see the last part of his glory. So if you look at our picture again, there's Moses seeing just a little bit of God's glory. Right? He couldn't see all of God's glory because it was too glorious and too much. But God let him see a little bit, right? Moses stayed with God on the mountain for 40 days and nights. God wrote the 10 commandments on new stone tablets and gave them back to Moses. And when Moses returned to the people, his face shone with the glory of God because of the time he had spent with him. Do you know what the greatest display of God's glory is? It is when Jesus died on the cross for our sin and rose from the dead. And by dying on the cross, Jesus displayed God's mercy and grace for all to see. That gave God great glory. Yes, Jesus loves us very much. Moses tried to take the punishment Israel deserved, but he couldn't because he was a sinner. But Jesus did what Moses could never do. He lived a sinless life and then gave it up for us. Now that is glorious, isn't it? Isn't that a great story? Talking about the glory of God. It really is. Well, thank you so much for listening to our story, and tune into our next video to learn more about God's big story. And if you're following along at home in your long story short devotional, we're on week 37. And on Monday, you could start day 1. Thank you again for listening to our story, right? Tell everybody bye?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you next time.